Hello everyone, my name is Pierre Elmauer, and today we're going to talk about raw food and changing a big portion of your weekly food routine to eating more raw foods. And what does it mean? What was my experience? How can it help you a lot? How can you make it super enjoyable, super tasty and delicious? And how can it heal you? How can it make you feel so much better like I experienced? And why? Why should you do it? Now, for me, in the last 5 years, I've been, before coming into eating raw foods, I was eating plant-based, but cooked. I felt big improvements. I was feeling great. But, there is a saying that you only feel as good as you know how you can feel good. And I didn't know that I can feel even way better. And one day I had this idea to try it, and I read some information. This is how it starts, right? It triggers you, oh, it's interesting. And, or some other people are like, from the other perspective, have problems and disease, and then they are desperate, and then they have to find the solutions, and then you do it. But ideally, be proactive instead of like waiting for the day that is a disaster. But okay, if you are there, you found it, it's great. That's a great way to go. Now, first of all, let's see how to go about it. So in the last 6 months or so, I've been introduced to raw foods. And in the beginning, I was thinking, about protein. Do I get enough protein? All these kind of things. Later on, only I understood how protein really works, and that it's not what you eat necessarily, what is the calories, what is the protein that you eat, but it's how much of it you absorb. Okay, this is why there are some raw food bodybuilders that actually are quite like having a lot of muscles, but you will see if you check how much they eat versus the portion size versus another person that is eating cooked, it will look much smaller, yet out of this size they are getting this, they absorb that, but somebody else eats this but only absorb that. That's why they get the same in a way in protein wise, but one eats lighter or less and one eats more. So when you eat cooked food, the body actually struggles more to absorb it. It has to really, the food is denatured, okay? It's not as it was in nature. Your body doesn't know as much how to process it. Now our body is amazing and it can even process that, but the problem is how much energy you're gonna lose when the body is trying to digest it. Well, when you eat something else that seems on paper has less protein, but it digests way quicker, so now you didn't spend as much, so you are left with the same amount or even more on here, yet your body is also more detox here. You are feeling cleaner because you didn't have to go through the period of spending a lot of energy. You didn't feel tired in the middle of the day suddenly. And my cat wants attention. Hey. So think about that. And I of course, I had these ideas, and I said, like, of course, I have to try it out to see the feeling. Now, the first day or 2 or 3 that I ate raw, it was very interesting. I felt such a boost of energy, not necessarily a boost like when you drink coffee or something like that, like a stimulant that is fake energy, really. It just stimulates your body to take out of its reserves, so you think you have more, but then you end up with a crash. It's not that feeling. It was more energy out of the feeling of less spending. It was like I took a vacation, and then I was like realizing at 3-4 p.m. I was working with a computer, and I realized, that's such an amazing feeling that there's nothing in my stomach, and I feel so relaxed. I can work longer, I can stay more focused, I have more energy. And that was fascinating for me, and that lasted for the first few weeks. Now, mind you that a very big key to transitioning to any lighter food, and especially if you go for raw food, which many people don't do it, but you'll be surprised how many do it, how many people actually do it. When you start to research, you'll start to find all kinds of channels for raw foods, amazing, delicious food, pizzas, cheese, burgers, whatever you want. You will not believe. You will think that you will just eat some salads that are boring, but no. There's actually amazing recipes, and I encourage you, this is actually the wise way to change to a lighter way of eating. Find and put time, put an hour every day to figure out the best recipes, put time to make them, make it like a fun thing, and you will see that you just didn't have the knowledge of how it's possible to prepare food in a raw way that is super delicious, super enjoyable, and you will surprise yourself that some things even taste better than the cooked way. And at that point, you'll be like, oh, I enjoy this so much. It's a new experience. I have so many tasty things that it's so easy to let go of the old, together with the fact that you feel way better, more energy. That's the way to do it. Enjoy your way into changing how you eat. Don't suffer. And how do you enjoy? Get knowledge, get information, put like time into it. Find the way to enjoy. And let me tell you, there's amazing recipes, super delicious, to the point that you will love it. And there is a way to make almost any taste, any texture that you will think with the cooked way. One of the things people use, they use a dehydrator, which, okay, it does change the structure a little bit of the food, but it does not kill the food. So you keep a lot of the energy in, versus when you cook it and then you technically kill part of the food, and then the body has to kind of recover it back from the death, which it can do, but it takes a lot of energy. But here you actually enjoy it, yet you don't get so tired after you eat. You don't have that because your body doesn't have to spend so much energy, so it doesn't give you the trigger of hunger of, oh, I'm tired, I have energy deficiency, let's sleep, which basically sleep is subconscious meditation, which meditation is just relaxing the body, letting energy flow so that you can absorb these subtle energies so they charge you up, okay? Now, going back to raw foods, I mean, again, don't think so much protein, this and that, but if it bothers you, there is ways to get a lot of protein on a raw food diet. You can have nuts, seeds, and I forgot some of the names, but there's a lot of things. Look it up that will give you plenty of protein if you want it. Now, in the beginning, when I changed, I still had this thing in my head about the protein. Then I made sure to find recipes with a lot of protein and this, and I was like, oh, it was great. And then later on, as I got used to it, my body was like, oh, okay, let's eat lighter and lighter, it's okay. You know, I work out 6 days in the gym, and I track my weights, my repetition, and I noticed, oh, my strength is not going down, I am increasing my strength, so okay, that means I'm okay. I'm not lacking protein. So my hair was getting better, my beard, everything felt great, which are all the signs that our body have enough protein. So I was like, okay, maybe something is different here, and I actually absorb the same or more protein from less on technical details protein. Again, try to find a way to enjoy it. And there are ways, you just have to research to figure it out, and you'll be surprised. So one thing to know is, what happened to me is, in the first few weeks of eating raw food, and mind you, I'm so good at research, I found right out of the gate how to enjoy it, right? So maybe for you, you would have to just have a few days of eating raw in the beginning, because this is the amount of time you have to figure out good recipes, right? And then eventually, once you master it, and it's so easy for you to make tasty raw food, then you do the whole week. But what I'm trying to say is, every time you start to eat lighter, the body gets more energy because it spends less energy. Now what happens is, at some point, for me it was after 3 weeks, for you it might be the first day, after 1 week, whatever. At some point, as your body has more energy, it says, oh, I have more energy, let's use that energy for something. Let's clean the body. Let's remove the toxins, everything that build up. And now what you start to notice is, the body uses this energy, and you even feel like you have less energy, and you start to say, oh, this way of eating makes me feel bad, and so on. But what really happens is, you have more energy, and now your body is using it to detox. And in that process, you might have some mucus coming up, you might have some headache, you might have that 1 or 2 days of feeling actually sick, and you haven't maybe felt sick in 5 years. Like I was like, I barely felt sick in 5 years, but after these 3 weeks, I had that one day, I was like, oh wow, it was tough. But that was the process of the body using all that energy to finally be able to clean itself. So it took it to the peak, and usually it's one little peak, and then okay, now you might have a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. For me, it was about 2 or 3 weeks that I was feeling oh, I'm slightly feeling sick, but you have to know what is the difference between a repetitive chronic sickness that comes from a problem versus a one-time feeling of sickness because the body is cleaning itself. What are the signs? You have mucus coming out from your nose, from your mouth, and that's great because when you eat cooked food, the body gathers a lot of mucus. When you eat raw, the body doesn't need to maintain mucus for that, so it starts to take it out. How does it take it out? You start to have headaches, you have cold, throat. It's not a bad thing. The body is taking it out. So you have to know this. Once you know it, you're not afraid of it, and then you just pass it, then it goes away. When it goes away, now you are left with this increased energy. And so you see, everything is about the perspective and having knowledge. This is why you're probably listening to this video, and I encourage you to listen to other people as well and more things. The more knowledge, the more confidence you have, and the more you understand what is happening in your body, and you're able to go through this transition better. And so for me, within a month, 2 months, I was like, oh, I feel amazing. And mind you, okay, I'm considerably a young person, so it depends how many years you are damaging yourself. And again, I was like eating for 5 years cooked food vegan, so I was already preparing my body for that to a degree. It might take you 6 months, it might take you a year, but you know what? It's worth it, you know? And let me tell you, like in the beginning, as the body is in energy deficiency, you might lose some weight, you might lose some muscle. This is normal, but then you build back up. And now you have a better foundation, you'll feel a lot better when you build back up. Now, if you do it slowly, which is one of the things I preach in many videos, you do it one by one, instead of changing all of a sudden to eating raw. Either you do the 1 day a week fasting, and then eventually you start to slowly change the baseline of eating in the rest of the week, or you just try some days raw, and then some more days, and then eventually everything. The point is, once you go through the detox, you will feel so great, but throughout this time, especially if you do it little by little, maintain your exercise if you do. If you don't, I really encourage you to exercise, especially resistance training, in a slow and correct way, in a good form, compound exercises, because that keeps a signal for your body, hey, I need muscle. Even that you're struggling now, body, and you're not struggling, you have more energy, and now you're struggling because you're going for it, you're going to clean the body, you're going to clean yourself, then I still want muscle, so please remember that. So you kind of like bother the body, hey, remember that, because, okay, I understand that maybe it's harder, and in this moment you might feel like, oh, it's so tough to progress, like maybe you go a little bit down in strength. But you know what? You maintain, you stay in the game, you go to the gym or you work out at home, whatever you do. This gives you a boost. So you will not go that much down so the building back will not be so hard. And keep in mind, if you're worried about muscle, the body has amazing muscle memory that doesn't disappear so easily. It might seem like in some cases it might shrink for a little bit, but then once the body has energy, it remembers. There is a part that never fully died of the muscle tissue, and it will come back. So, but of course, if you do everything perfectly, you might not lose it. You might even gain more strength in that time, because as your body detoxes from eating raw, you start to feel lighter. Pains and aches you had around the body starts to go away. Now what happens? You start to have a better form. You can go full form, but before you were just like this. So now actually you're able to trigger better muscle growth. So in perspective, in the big picture, you're actually being able to add more muscle. But in the small picture, you're struggling, so you might lose some muscle. So think big picture, don't think short term. This is your health, okay? What do you want first, your health or just your look? You will get both of them in the end, trust me. But think big picture and have patience with yourself. Don't beat yourself up, take it easy. But in the end, if you discover this and you're looking at this video now and it triggered your attention about raw food, this is an amazing thing. Look into this world, you will be surprised. And I tell you that one thing I learned is that the two biggest things that could help people reverse almost any disease, of course to the degree of how long they've been with that situation and so on, is stop eating processed food Okay, anything that is in a box is processed, okay? Anything that is more than one ingredient is processed. Okay, you can prepare something with many ingredients, but each of them to be an individual ingredient to begin with, and then you put them together, that's fine. So the processed food, anything of that nature that you can let go, that's amazing. And then secondly, cooking. That's something that, sure, might be a bit counterintuitive to some of you, or it might be difficult to accept. You will think that you might lack some minerals and vitamins, which is a whole other topic, and I will explain it in another video how it actually works and why you should not be worried about it. But if you progress in these two areas, eating less processed or none at all, and eating less cooked or none at all, and you stick to it and you do it little by little, and you still exercise, you do all your other things, you go through the detox period, you build back up, you will see you will have a lot more energy. Your body will use that energy to heal almost any disease. Of course, if it's been a long time, it might need more time to do. Your skin will get better, you will feel lighter, pains and aches will go away, you will get instantly more flexible, which is a sign that you're more detoxed, and you will have a better clarity of mind, and this is the best feeling. And you will have so much more creativity, ideas will come to you easier, you'll feel more sense of purpose with your life. And that's what all of this together is what people consider true happiness. And you will not just need to say, oh, yes, I'm happy, I'm looking for happiness. No, you will feel it, you will be it. And all right, so this is some things about raw food. I encourage you to try it. Congratulations for you for even being curious to listen to that. And looking forward to share more information with you. Take care.